Okay, so tonight our talk again is about family, and it's a very, very different talk now because the whole family is gonna give us a talk. So it's kind of like a talk show.
Wow.
That's why it's as you can see, it's the center is like will be like they will show you it. They will let you know what's going on. So it's quite a very interesting talk show. So without further ado, now I would like to introduce you one of our mentors, one of our very aspiring, very lovely family from Quimbian. So the head of the family is Brother Benji Reyes and his beautiful, gorgeous wife, Shara, and their 3 kids. I will just let them introduce their kids. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce to you the Reyes family.
No.
Good evening, nation. Siyempre English dapat maliyan. Anyway, I'm here on the field work to know something about this. There's something spreading in social media. I was so intrigued to go here and find out that there's a family, very intriguing, that became viral, like 4 million followers. Wow. Anyway, because this family is, they work together, they bond together, and with their faith, it's remarkable. They can do everything, and then it earns all the heart of the mass. I mean, everyone likes them because of the good deeds that they do. And anyway, I'm now in Quimbian, close to their home, home of the Reyeses. Let me just get one of the neighbors and ask, maybe one neighbor. Marites, are you Marites? What can you say about the Reyes family?
Oh, the Reyes family are very close. I always see them going to church together, and they even serve the Quimbian church and very supportive of the parish.
Really? Oh, that's why. No string, right? No string. Okay. Thank you very much. How about so another neighbor, maybe, so that we can compare if she's really telling the truth. Another neighbor. Hi, can I ask you something? What can you observe? What's with this Reyes family? Why they are so popular?
Oh, I think this family is really generous. They're actually giving us a lot of food and just every party. Their house, and also they're also practicing the they're giving giving to the charity institutions as well, and they're really practicing their faith.
Wow, that's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now I think, brothers and sisters, the best is let's have a sneak peek and let's have a look what's going on inside the Reyes home. Okay? I will start watching them. Just
Alrighty, good evening everyone. So before my mom and my dad go on to their talk session, we're going to play a little game called Who is Most Likely. So let's start off. So this this is the family basically, the Reyes family. That we have 2 fur babies as well. So Sammy and Luna. So Sammy is the old black and Luna is the one hiding behind Stephanie right there. See? Cheeky face. Alright, so onto the game. Alright, so we're going to play a little game called Who is Most Likely, and between us we're just going to be pointing, so I'll count us down, so 3, 2, 1, and then we'll point. Okay, and then you guys can point as well if you want. Okay, so, alrighty, so the first one, who is most likely to win a bike race? So, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that was kind of an obvious one. That's his hobby, so yeah. Next one. Who is most likely to stay up all night? 3, 2, 1. Obviously, since the youngest, she can do that still. Alrighty. Who is most likely to be hungry all the time? We all know that. Alright, next one. This one's a tough one, so it's between my mom and I. Okay. Who is most likely to do all the dishes?
Mommy, Sherry.
No, it's not. It's definitely not.
It's Benji. Benji now.
Who is most likely to sleep in? 3, 2, 1. Yeah. It's between me and my dad, but I sleep in because he has to go to work early. So yeah. Okay, so that's the game that we played. But we'll just introduce ourselves quickly before we go. So I'm Shane. I'm the eldest out of the 3. I recently turned 23 and I'm still studying at University of Canberra. I joined Youth for Christ, so it's another ministry in the CFC and the Youth for Christ section. So I joined Youth for Christ in 2015 and I served as a chapter head in 2018 to 2020. Now I am in Singles for Christ, which is like the ministry after Youth for Christ. So yeah.
My name is Justin. I'm 21. I'm currently finishing my degree in University of Canberra, Bachelor of Science. I like basketball, and I joined YFC with Youth for Christ with my sister in 2015. I was a household leader, and I got to do a camp leader, so it was really fulfilling to be part of the community. Just everyone boosts you up, so really good.
Hi, my name's Stephanie. I turned 15 last month from year 9. I joined KFC, Kids for Christ, in 2014, I think, and then I joined Youth for Christ in 2020. That's it for us.
Okay, thank you.
Basa? Basa ba? Just
Feel good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay ka na ate? Ate, okay ka lang?
Oh, that game was fun, right? Isn't it? Yes. It should be. We should do that often every weekend. So please, we can have our family time and
Using each other.
All right, let's go to the top. In the beginning, God intended family to be, of course, beautiful families. And the story comes like this. Before putting up our family in the person of Adam and Eve. But, of course, we know the story was really good. And it did not happen according to this beautiful God plan it to be. And then sin enters the picture. It was Satan's first attempt of destroying the family. And in another verse, taken from Joshua, if it is displeasing to you to serve the Lord, choose today whom you will serve, the gods your ancestors served beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose country you are dwelling. As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord.
I agree with you, Dad. As a family, we need to spend more quality time together. It will allow us to know more and love each other more. As we know, love begins love, and it begins in the family. The family is the first life school. In a bigger or general sense, the family is the building block of society, of the church, and the cradle of every vocation. As an institution, the family is under serious attack in many fronts. Marriages are being broken, and traditional definition of family is being challenged. In almost countries, except in Philippines and Vatican City, the seat of the Roman Catholic Church, divorce is legal. In many countries, abortion and same-sex unions are recognized, accepted, and legal. The family is imperfect yet beautiful, gift from God. Pope Francis affirmed in Amoris Laetitia, The Joy of Love to them, 2016, I thank God that many families which are far from considering themselves perfect live in love, fulfill their calling, and keep moving forward, even if they fall many times along the way. The Synod's reflection shows us that there is no stereotype of ideal family, but rather challenging mosaic made up of many different realities with all their joys, hopes, and problems. But we don't need to be sad, Dad and my children, because though the family is under attack, God has great plans for families. So it is important to know and understand what God planned for His family.
That's right, Mommy. God has greater plans for the families. And His first plan is, He has intended the family for the transmission of life. In God's plan, the Christian family is a community of the life and love. Each family is the home of God, and its members belongs to God. Parents must regard their children as children of God and respect them as human persons. The fundamental task of the family is to serve life, to actualize in history the original blessings of the Creator, that of transmitting by procreation the divine image from person to person. It was meant to be so from the very beginning. It made sense, therefore, that God created man, male and female, with their physiology so formed as to enable man to increase, multiply, and fill the earth. God intended man and woman to be one, not independent individuals producing babies, but husband and wife raising a family.
And His second plan is the family is a place for teaching children and training leaders. The family is a place to transmit wisdom and value of life. The overall education of children is a most serious duty, and at the same time is a primary right of parents. This is not just a task or a burden, but an essential right that parents call to defend and which no one can claim to deprive them. Parents have the first responsibility for the education of their children. They bear witness to this responsibility, first by creating home where tenderness, forgiveness, respect, fidelity, service are the rule. Teaching is not formal, but rather comes in everyday activities in the home. It is of utmost importance to help mold children to grow maturity through an outpouring love, discipline, and education virtues.
That's right.
It is parents is said to be an example, as a good example to our children.
Yeah, that's correct. And then and the third plan is the family is a domestic church. The spirituality of family love is made up of thousands of small but real gestures, one of which is for men to discover their God-given roles as fathers. Parents, especially the fathers, are to be the priests in their families. They present God to their families by their example of a living Christianity. By diligently teaching scriptures, the use of symbols, they present their families to God by family prayer, by blessings the children. The family, like the church, ought to be a place where the gospel is transmitted and from which is the gospel radiates in a family, which is conscious of the mission. All the members evangelize. The parents not only communicate the gospel to the children, but from there, deeply lived by them. As such, a family becomes the evangelizer of many other families and of the neighborhood of which it forms part.
Wow, that's how beautiful God's plan for the family. He has a beautiful plan, but I'm wondering why God's plan is not happening.
It's because, first, God has lost His central place in the family. And why? Parents no longer bring up their children in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. They look more and more to psychology as a source of wisdom for raising their children. Husbands and wives do not follow God's order for them. There is confusion of roles. Their commitments is shaky. They cannot be depended on, and the parents become insecure. This is too much importance given to acquiring material possessions and having an easy and comfortable life. And most of all, we are too busy to work and therefore less time bonding to our children and our family. And from the passage, wives submit yourselves to your husband, and husband is head of the wife, as Christ head of the church. And the second reason was the family itself is losing its importance. The pace of modern life has become very fast-making. It's difficult for lasting relationships to develop. The culture of busyness, where we feel our schedules bleed too much, does take us away from what are essentials. Moreover, many of the family's responsibilities have been taken over by groups in society, education in schools, livelihood in offices and factories, recreations in malls. The traditional family has become dispensable. Separations and divorces become easy to obtain. Living in is not only acceptable but has become normal. The throwaway culture is evident even in the way we deal with each other. We treat affective relationships the way we treat material objects and the environment. Everything is disposable. Everyone uses and throws away, takes and breaks, exploits and squeezes to the last drop, and then goodbye.
Yeah, that's right. I totally agree with you, Dad. But I also believe that God has great plans for the family. He wants His love and grace to overflow in the family. Evil doesn't want it to happen. That is why the family is under attack. The devil wants us to break the family and promotes many things to undermine the family, such as secularism, means exclusion of religion, and relativism, that believe that there's no absolute truth, and viral indifference among others. Pope Francis noted that the rampant individualism makes it difficult today for a person to give generously to one another. But Dad, what should every family do?
St. Paul II exhorts families. Family become what you are. It is imperative that as parents, as husband and wife, together we make a decision to make God the center of our family. People will know that we are Christians by the love in our hearts, expressed in our homes. We are not perfect family. We are striving to be a Christian family that God desires us to be. But here are some tips we would like to share to the families. The first tip is we can eat together. Pope Francis reminds us a family that hardly ever eats together, or that does not talk but watches television or looks at the smartphone, is a very familial family. When children are engrossed with computer at the table or a mobile phone and do not talk to each other, this is not family. It is like a boarding house. Eating is a symbol of togetherness. At the table, we talk and listen to each other. At the table, we nourish our relationships in the table, fellowship with the members of our family. Just like what happened the other night. Everyone sitting down in the table and facing each other and just having fun, having dinner, and having conversation and talking about what to do or what our next vacation. And yeah, we're having fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. During pandemic and during isolation, I know this brings family to be closer together because we can't go out, we can't go to Macca, so we have to eat together as a family. That's why this pandemic and isolation bring a family closer together. The second tip is pray together.
Yes, absolutely.
Consecrate our family to God. Pray as a family. Father Patrick Prater reminds us, the family that prays together stays together. Pray the rosary as a family. Pray over your children. Pray for healing for family members. Intercede for each other's needs. Celebrate the Holy Mass by attending regularly together as a family. This does not only apply to young families but also with families with adult children. Is the way we pass our Catholic Christian faith to them. And also, it's happening blessing in disguise as well during pandemic and isolation. We got to pray together. See, because we can't go to the church, so we all watch the Mass together and pray together. So the pandemic brings the family closer to each other.
That's right. And
Next is commit to serve the Lord together through Couples for Christ, its family and social ministries, and through One Call. And I feel I feel blessed as a personal experience. I feel blessed and grateful at the time we're in a youth camp as a parent coordinator, and we and our children are serving the camp as well. This is no greater feeling that that we are worshiping and thanking God at one time in community. That the whole family is that same feeling that we are experiencing, praying together.
Okay. And the third tip, love one another. Make time for the task of building a strong family. The Lord's presence dwells in real and concrete families. With all their daily troubles and struggles, joys and hopes, examine your daily life to ensure that your family has enough quality time together. Be ready to reduce your other activities if necessary. Plan regular family recreation, vacation, and other activities. Create opportunities for love to flourish. Know, understand, and fulfill your role as parents. Fathers, be the pastor, provide and protector of your family. Model after Saint Joseph and his example of spiritual fatherhood to Jesus and his steady parental presence. Mothers, look to Mother Mary for inspiration, that you may be a constant nurturer and life giver of your home. Light your home with unconditional love, as the family is a shepherd in mercy.
Yeah, it's another example during pandemic. It's happening in pandemic as well, because kids can't go out, so we just play games, watch movie together, and then we build a gym for us for exercise together. So this pandemic really helps the family close to each other. And maybe we can ask our Stephanie to share on how our family strives with God's plan in our family.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie, as you guys know, and I'm the youngest, as you know, and I will be sharing the ways my family and I fulfill God's plan. As the youngest, I can still remember how my family and I was introduced to God at a very young age. The Mother Teresa sisters from Queen Bee really helped my family and I strive to be a Christian family. The sisters showed us how to serve others through feeding the homeless, visiting the elderly, entertaining, and performing during the Christmas nativity presentations. The sisters helped us learn how to pray the rosary together when I was only 3 years old, so yeah, it's been pretty big through my whole life. We've always been doing it. This practice of praying the rosary really shaped what our family is today. We got really used to praying before doing almost everything and anything, like eating, traveling, or just praying rosaries together at night. The sisters also introduced us to the CFC community in 2014. I was a part of Kids for Christ. My ate and kuya was a part of Youth for Christ, and my parents was in Couples for Christ. As we became active in this community, we were all together even more doing what we were called to do. I remember when my parents were the coordinators for YRC, I as well would have to attend the camps and events. My ate and kuya was serving in YRC at the time, and we are so blessed that we got to serve as a family altogether. I didn't even know it yet, but those moments was what made us grow together in God's love. Nowadays, we still continue to pray, attend Mass, and visit the sisters. We also love traveling together, and we love going out to eat. Just the little things. Like even just talking to each other about concerns, problems, interests, school, work, other family stuff. We have our times where we fall because we all are human and we aren't perfect. But we just have to continue to try to be better as one family, no matter what may try to stop us.
because at the end of the day, family is the greatest gift that God has given us. Like other Christian families, we will forever strive to live out God's plan. And with that, may God be praised.
Please stand.
Every
Every
family,
family,
despite its weakness, can become a light in the darkness of the world.
We look to the Holy Family for inspiration. Amoris Laetitia 66 says, Nazareth teaches us the meaning of family life, its loving communion, its simple and austere beauty, its sacred and unvaluable character. May it teach how sweet and respectable
In
in its
its training,
training,
how fundamental and comparable its role in the social order.
Okay, that's conclude our talk tonight. May I ask everyone to stand up and let us pray prayers to the Holy Family. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph,
In you we contemplate the splendor of true love. To you we turn with trust. Holy Family of Nazareth, grant that our families too may be places of communion and prayer, authentic schools of the gospel, and small domestic churches. Holy Family of Nazareth, may families never again experience violence, rejection, and division. May all who remain hurt, scandalized, and ready for comfort and healing. Holy Family of Nazareth, make us once more mindful of sacredness and inviolability of the family and its beauty in God's plan. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, graciously hear our prayers. Amen.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you for listening and
Okay. Thank you, Reyes family.